This is Ross Ulbricht. He was a normal guy living in Austin, Texas, until he decided to go on the bad side and create a dark web marketplace called the Silk Road. The story of the Silk Road is one of intrigue and danger, as it was a morally questionable site where people could buy and sell illegal items with relative anonymity without fear of law enforcement. It was an online black market for drugs, weapons, hitmen, and body parts. And all this gruesome trading was operated by one drug lord, Ross Ulbricht. When you are handling such a strong presence of illegal trade and making millions off of it, it's only natural to have some guy coming after you. This is what happened to Ross Ulbricht. Infamous as Dread Pirate Roberts on the Silk Road website, Ross Ulbricht was once blackmailed by a pseudo-anonymous user and was threatened to pay $500,000. But guess what? It didn't turn out as expected for the mysterious blackmailer, because he was not blackmailing just any other guy, but one of the most clever smugglers ever. Join us in this video as we tell you the story of how Ross Ulbricht, a drug lord of the dark world, was blackmailed and, of course, what happened to the guy who came after him. It all started on March 13th, 2013, when someone named Friendly Chemist tried to reach out to Dread Pirate Roberts by leaving an anxious message on the Silk Road website. He claimed that it was a matter of life and death and wanted Dread Pirate Roberts, aka DPR, to message him right away. The very next day, Silk Road owner DPR answered the message, asking Friendly Chemist what he could do for him. To this, Friendly Chemist replied that he is a supplier of LSD for Lucy Drop, one of the top vendors on the Silk Road website. Friendly Chemist claimed that Lucy Drop owed him $700,000 for their recent trading and was not paying him back, because, according to Lucy Drop, DPR was delaying the payment. Friendly Chemist also claimed that he visited Lucy Drop's home to get the payment, but there was no sign of him. Friendly Chemist claimed that he had access to Lucy Drop's customer list and had the details of thousands of Silk Road usernames, their order numbers, and addresses. I would not hesitate to leak all of them if he didn't get his money back. This was a red flag for DPR. He did not want to cave in and pay up to the blackmailer, but he also could not risk the website being busted. He texted Lucy Drops and asked if he knew Friendly Chemist and if the accusations were true. The owner of this account never replied, but DPR received a message from another account on March 16th, 2013. This other account was named Real Lucy Drop, and he quoted a wild side of the story. Real Lucy Drop claimed that he had been in jail for the past 2 months. He was betrayed by his partner who took over his original account, and with it, all of his savings. DPR requested this new person who entered the story and asked him to get him Friendly Chemist's real-world identity. Why? To threaten him with violence. On March 13th, Real Lucy Drop got back to DPR and said Friendly Chemist owed the money to some big criminal organisation in Canada. He is terrified of them, and if he does not pay them back, they will harm him and his family. DPR ignored all that and asked Real Lucy Drop to send him the real identity of Friendly Chemist, since Real Lucy Drop claimed to know him personally. Real Lucy Drop refused to reveal his identity because, according to him, threatening him back will not help this situation. DPR sensed that Real Lucy Drop was not really helping this matter. In fact, he was convincing DPR to agree on a deal with Friendly Chemist, pay him the money, and keep buying supplies from him. This is not how DPR wanted to handle this. So, instead of relying on Real Lucy Drop, DPR texts Friendly Chemist directly. He asked to get him the contact with the supplier who was threatening him, which he did. Now comes the interesting part of the story. On March 25th, 2013, DPR received a text message on SR from a person named Red and White. He claimed to be Friendly Chemist's supplier. Before anything else, DPR cleared his position that he did not owe anything to Friendly Chemist and invited Red and White and his organisation to sell their illicit substance on SR. This was a lucrative offer that would have benefited both parties. But before this side of the business was taken any further, DPR said something that changed the course of their conversation. He said, Friendly Chemist is a liability, and I wouldn't mind if he was executed. On the other side, Friendly Chemist was getting restless. He texted DPR again and blackmailed him into paying him the money within the next 72 hours, or else he would leak all the information about SR and its heinous services. DPR responded with a surprisingly calm message. He requested Friendly Chemist to give him 96 hours because he had some rather big plans for the weekend. What Friendly Chemist didn't know was that the big plan was actually to take him out of the story. DPR placed a bounty on his head and paid Red and White a Bitcoin equivalent of $150,000. He put on the hit on the night of March 31st. Within the next 20 to 22 hours, Red and White responded with the words, "Your problem has been taken care of." The story would have ended there, but a new problem surfaced for DPR. Red and White told DPR that Friendly Chemist and a partner of his were working for another guy, who was in fact a seller on SR. This third guy was also a con artist who was pulling a scam on DPR's website. Red and White informed that this third guy was Andrew Lawsery of Surrey. DPR did not want to take any risk here either, so he asked Red and White to go after Andrew Lawsery and find out more about him. It wasn't long before Red and White got back with the info and told DPR everything about Andrew Lawsery. He claimed that this person was working as a seller on SR under the name Tony76 and a bunch of other accounts. He went on and revealed that Andrew lived with 3 other people in the building, and all 4 of them stole 15,000 bitcoins from a person on SR. These 15,000 bitcoins were worth $2 billion at the time. At first, DPR ordered Red and White to just recover the funds from Andrew, but Red and White explained how difficult it would be to separate the group of 4 people and recover the funds. He warned that the job would require too much time and too many hitters. He suggested it would be easy just to get rid of all 4 of them, to which DPR agreed. Red and White demanded $500,000 for the job and assured DPR that they would split the recovered Bitcoin in half, so it would benefit both of them. At first, DPR hesitated, since it was a huge payment, but finally, he sent it through. After 3 days of sending the payment, DPR received the same message again. The problem was dealt with. The murder of 5 people in a matter of a month was swept under the rug. It was like nothing ever happened until October the same year. On October 1st, 2013, the FBI arrested DPR from the San Francisco Public Library and confiscated his laptop. He was logged into his SR website on the laptop, so all his darknet activity was revealed to the FBI. His every conversation, every transaction, and every one of his darkest doings was all available on that laptop. What if I were to tell you? The most shocking thing is yet to happen to DPR, and you too. Upon investigation, it was found that none of the 5 murders that DPR paid for took place. In fact, there were no 5 people involved at all. It was all the same person chatting with DPR behind the screen from multiple accounts and fooling him all from the start. From Friendly Chemist to Red and White, all the messages were skillfully crafted to weave a story that would fool the biggest drug lord of that time. The person behind all this scammed DPR for $1.15 million. This amount also included a loan of $500,000 that DPR gave to Red and White to make him stop vending on SR. According to DPR, this person conned him once again and flaked out without paying back the loan. This was the story of a dark web lord who found himself in the middle of the most elaborate, creepy, and psychologically bewildering scam that had to date.